Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to This Is a Work, a monthly wrestling podcast covering the WWE's pay-per-view events. My name is David Hensley, and I'm the owner and creative director of Long Walk Productions, here to introduce your host, David Two Dogs Hayes. Take it away, Two Dogs.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hensley, and welcome to Rock Hill, South Carolina's only premier WWE pay-per-view review podcast. This is a work. I am, of course, your host, David Two Dogs Hayes. Alongside me, my co-host and buddy, Chris the Shockmaster Barnes. Chris, how are you?
We are here today to mourn the passing of Jeffrey P. Hardy. But we'll get into that in a moment.
Chris, did you notice that those superlatives actually got shorter than they were on the last episode?
Did they?
They did. I was actually watching the time code.
He hit all of them perfectly, though.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
I had to make some cuts.
We are.
Oh. Thank you for doing that for me, so I didn't have to do it later.
Future endeavored adjectives?
Yeah. Guys, before we get started, we have, Chris, our second guest for this show. And it is my loving, adoring wife. That might be a stretch. My wife, Kara Hayes. How are you, boo?
Doing good.
Another family member. I'm sensing a pattern here.
Yeah. It's really hard to get people that want to be around me. And
We all have Stockholm syndrome, so it's fine.
I can't get my mom and dad to come on the show.
That's all right. Next month, our special guest won't be somebody married to you or related to you. It will be somebody married to me.
Yeah. We're just having to move down the road here.
Nepotism running wild.
Yeah. Guys, we got to do a couple of shout outs here. First of all, I want to shout out to my buddies up in Lincolnton, North Carolina, doing their own podcast, and that is the Pudcast with Jason and Mike. Those guys they're doing kind of it's a wrestling / pop culture podcast, and they're having a lot of fun with it. It's one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to, and got to give them a shout out. Also, another good friend of mine, Zane Riley, and a guy that I've only met a couple of times, but I'm a huge fan of him. Their podcast is How Did This Get Booked with Zane Riley and Jake Manscout Manning. Always want to give those guys a shout out.
Absolutely. That's a great... I've listened to the podcast before. They do a great job.
Hilarious. And they always have such great, unusual guests that are really, really, really unknowledgeable of wrestling, and that's what makes it so good.
Well, that's why I'm here.
And there you go. Guys, this time we are reviewing WWE's Hell in a Cell 2018. Just went down last Sunday, and wow, it's been a crazy week trying just watching the podcast, guys. That took 2 days. Just because this week has been so crazy. We were out on a cruise. We had a hurricane. We thought we beat the hurricane, and then we had to chase the hurricane back into South Carolina. It's been nuts. Kara Hayes, what say you?
Well, we made it back.
Yeah.
So,
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
yes, rather
It would have been
unfortunately.
tragic had we had to spend extra time on that cruise ship.
I don't know what we would have done.
I'd have had to have another beer just to get over it.
Or several.
Yeah.
You all make me sick.
We
Oh,
tried.
God, I'm sorry, Chris. I forgot you were here.
How was working through the hurricane? Hate. Guys, Hell in a Cell. What can I say about it? This was we are done with the PG era. It's over.
No, yeah, I'd say so. I'd definitely say so.
I don't know if we're necessarily taking it back to the Attitude Era, but we're definitely into a smash mouth style of wrestling that seems to be coming in. Almost more of a indie style that's Vince is taking hold of. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. What do you think?
I think they're hitting a nice middle ground where it's like, okay, we're not aiming to be as wild as possible as, say, like the Attitude Era, where it was just like push it all the time. But if it happens, they go with it and they roll with it now, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Carol, what do you think? It's you have been how should I put that? Putting up with wrestling for about 18 years now.
Yeah, closing in on 2 decades.
What do you think about where we're going after watching this pay-per-view?
Well, I only had to hide my eyes once, which I'm not used to in WWE anyway. I kind of like it. I mean, I don't mind seeing a little bit of blood and stuff. So, yeah.
Right on. Well, let's get into it. We started our kickoff show with New Day versus Rusev Day. Guys, I'm seeing a pattern here with New Day. They're going to be jerking the curtain for probably the rest of this year and maybe next year too.
I guess. I mean, I thought the kickoff show was good because it actually gave a very good rundown of everything.
Yeah, it really did. And just to put a little cherry on top of that, Alexa Bliss's interview.
God, I was hoping we'd get to this. I think she had one of the best moments of the night. The interview was great, and then David Otunga jumps in, and she just walks off.
No.
Bye, and she's just gone. It was great.
She just pieced out, and nobody could keep a straight face on that panel.
No.
Otunga was... Is that even how you say his name?
Otunga.
Otunga. He was never that great a worker. I didn't care to memorize it.
Yeah, but he had a killer entrance theme.
He really did. And now he's married to somebody famous.
Jennifer Hudson.
There it is. Yeah. Yeah. Good for him. So, New Day versus Rusev Day. Guys, I can't say enough good things about New Day. They're just fantastic.
It was great. And they had and them and Rusev and Aiden English had a great match together.
They absolutely did. Couple of good things. The Aiden English promo to start off was just fantastic. Going back and forth with New Day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can you do much better than this? It always makes me smile to see the New Day. It reminds me of 3 Hillbilly Jims. If Hillbilly Jim were 3 people,
I don't think anyone saw that comparison coming at all. But yeah,
I get with unicorn.
A lot of qualifiers on
and
this one.
pancakes.
And throwing pancakes. But other than that, it is exactly the same thing.
I know what you're saying in a roundabout way. It's the unbridled enthusiasm they always have.
Yeah.
Like it never drops for a minute.
Big E at one point in this match spears Rusev through the ropes to the outside, takes a header.
Oh my gosh.
My God, that man is agile for a 300-pound.
Absolutely.
He is unbelievable. Rusev looked fantastic.
He did, yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff going on here. And that kind of brings me to the question that needs to be asked. Why can we not push these guys further up the card a little bit? I understand that they bring a great opening to the show. Mm-hmm. I think they deserve more at this point.
Oh, definitely. I agree with you 100%. And I'm wondering where are they going with the Rusev still can't catch a break thing.
Well, it seemed pretty evident that Aiden English might be teasing a heel turn here.
That seems to be like, without having watched TV, that seems like the only logical thing that they've been building towards since I started keeping tabs. Is like Rusev had the match with AJ. It was a clean match until Aiden messed up. and it's like then they have what was it? He had the match with Lana against the other team. They were definitely playing the face role there. So yeah, I think the way they're teasing it, it would have to be Aiden turning on Rusev, despite the fact that he is the one screwing up Rusev's chances.
Yeah.
So it feels like he's gonna. It feels like he's gonna be like, "You're the one dragging me down."
That's the way it's leaning, you know. Now, Kara, you watch this match with me. We didn't get a big crowd for Hell in a Cell this time. It consisted of.
I did see some empty seats in the background of it quite often.
Well, I was actually referring to my house. But yeah, there were empty seats there too.
Lots of empty seats at our house.
It consisted of me and Kara.
Over 2 nights.
So you watched it with me. What were your thoughts on this match?
Well, my first thought is that Aiden English is entirely too skinny to be a wrestler. He just looks, and he really needs to put a shirt on.
You leave the
'cause-
Scarecrow alone.
No. No.
Little pasty. Yeah.
A little.
Oh, I mean, he's no Sheamus, but
No, and I still think Sheamus looks better.
okay.
Anyway, I think as far as New Day goes, I think the reason that they don't get the push right now is because they're silly. Like, how do you, I mean, and I know that they are good workers, but how do you take them seriously? You know,
Well, I don't think that's a problem. I don't think you have to. I think you can put them in that high level and still let them be themselves.
Yeah, you can. Well, in fact,
But then again, I lean more towards those type of wrestlers, and I fall in line with their antics, and I love it.
I like the fact of getting rid of the popcorn matches, and maybe putting them first. In fact, when I was booking, that's what I tried to do: is put the popcorn match first.
Yeah.
And then more of a comedy match, I tried to put it towards the middle to give you a break from the seriousness, and let's have some fun right now.
Yeah,
I'd support that.
Yeah, I mean, you can watch someone like Colt Cabana and see how you can weave it in just seamlessly if you've got the kind of good talent that the New Day are.
And don't get me wrong, you know, I like them, you know, but I just, for me, looking at
I know what you mean.
the product as a whole, it almost feels like Vince is, you know, we'll just let them be silly and keep them down here.
He's pigeonholing them.
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much.
Yeah.
Well, and I get it. I know why he's doing it. It's you need to start it off. You need to get them laughing. You need to get them motivated, and that's where the New Day shines.
Yeah.
I think you can move them up the card a little bit. Now, Rusev and Lana, although they had a great showing, those guys, I push them down the card a little bit because Rusev looked great in the kickoff, but that's about where it's going to end because, as we've already stated, putting him up with somebody like AJ Styles, and he can't meet the challenge, or maybe AJ can't meet his challenge. One of the
It
other.
might have been like I said before. I think it might have been just been a combination of they didn't work well together. They weren't bad. They weren't bad, but they didn't work well. They didn't gel together as well as they could have.
Right. So I thought this was a really good match. It's a lot of fun. Everybody showing off their speed, their
Absolutely.
agility.
If there was one down point, in the match, it was this: they ran another video package in the middle of it.
Yeah.
One that they'd already run.
What is going on?
I don't know. Like I don't.
Are they running out of stuff to do?
The show's coming up next. It bugs me so much. Because it's so cruel to the people that they have in the ring working for them.
It really is, and it's taken away from it.
Plus, I was like, I want to watch this match. Let me enjoy the thing you're telling me you want me to see.
I love this match. I gave it 3 solid Meltzers, and I could have gone 4 on there. I can't say anything bad about it. We can move on to the actual starting of the program. We started off with the Hell in a Cell match. Opening match, Hell in a Cell. Red cage.
Ugly.
Red cage reminiscent of the TNA red cage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still ugly.
It is. Bring back the blue bars.
Right, that's what I said. I said that earlier today. I was talking to my son, and
But they could have put a cage, the top like they had on top of that for when they get people up there inevitably.
yeah. Now, I want to ask you something too, and we'll get to this later.
Sure.
Did that cage look taller to you than it has in recent years?
I couldn't tell.
It felt taller to me. Now, it could have been the color of the cage.
I think it might have
It
been.
could have been the
actually.
angle of the camera.
And both.
If it was taller, I don't think it was by much.
It appeared that it was
Okay.
about 10 feet taller.
Here's a question. About how tall do you think that ladder Jeff Hardy was on at the end of the match was?
I'd say it's probably 10 feet.
Okay, so he stood on the top of that. I think the cage was the same height because how was he? Is he like 6 foot? Little.
Five.
Hey, he's in there, yeah.
He's right around there because he was almost on top of that ladder. He couldn't really jump off of it, but he could stand at the top of it pretty easily and touch the top of the cage. So it's about 16 feet, which
Yeah,
I
guess it
think
would have to be.
I think that's close to where it was before.
It felt like, and I could be wrong about this, but I felt like when Foley took his splash through the cage,
Yeah.
I felt like that cage was not as high as this one is.
It would still have to be.
I think
though.
it felt that way because that one was since it happened in the Attitude Era, it looked more like a standard fence.
Yeah.
Because that one kind of had that feeling on top because you could see when they were walking on it, but it had give, but it would look more reinforced than previously.
That you may be right.
And
about
I think
that.
it looked sturdier and maybe it was like thicker and sturdier all around, so it may have been bigger in that sense.
Yeah, it has that unbreakable plastic that they make the wrestlers out of. That's what they made this cage out of because it's red and it looks plastic.
Well, it has to match the accessory when they sell the playset.
Well, it's just a milk crate. I mean, it's just a red Borden's milk crate that they just set over top of the cage. It's the cheapest idea they've ever had.
They had to spend a lot of money to look that cheap too.
Yeah, they did. This match, guys, was brutal. Oh my God.
What? Okay. There were two major things that happened to Randy. Like, I can't remember what part hurt his back because his back got scratched up something fierce.
That was Jeff Hardy's belt.
God,
And
okay, he whipped him with the belt. Okay,
And he whipped him with the pointy part.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Mm-hmm. I did catch the fact that Jeff had trouble keeping his pants up afterward.
Yeah. Which also makes me wonder now was that a work? Was his belt coming off? Was that a work or was that just a spot? I don't know because I went back and watched it, and
Okay.
I'm wondering if that blood that was on his back. I'm wondering if it was pellets that were put into the belt.
Could have been. He could have done something to make it scratch more.
And well, the reason I said when they first showed it, I was like, oh my Lord, did he hit him hard? And then 15 minutes later, they showed his back again, and there's still blood there, and it's just kind of smeared around and doesn't really look like anything.
but
I'm
if
not seeing any
also-
welts. I'm not seeing anything.
I think if they were superficial enough, the wound if they were just like if they were just hard scratches, then they could have already been closing up.
That's
And if you think, assuming it was something with, like a little pointy poke thing, it would puncture it, and those tend to not bleed as much, because it's a smaller
It
I mean,
could have.
considering how hard he dresses, that could have just been like studs on the belt that he.
That's
had
what
with.
I think it was.
It
yeah.
very well could have been. It could have been.
And then something hit
The
Orton
chair.
on the leg.
Oh.
Was it the chair?
Oh my god, that was
Lord
so.
have
that tore
mercy.
his leg a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That-
And the giant like
Strip?
5-inch piece of
Yeah,
skin
it's
that
just
was hanging
flapping in
off.
the wind.
Oh,
Yes.
that was so.
Just hanging there for the world to see, waving at Kara, going, "Look at
It's like-
me,
it's
I'm bleeding."
I think I screamed.
She did.
I don't blame
That
you.
wasn't. I screamed a lot during.
I don't
this
blame you
match.
because when I've had like nothing that bad, but when things have, like when skin gets loose like that, it's like I gotta get it off. It's like I don't want that hanging
Oh,
off.
and
Right?
I don't want to rip that off. That's really.
No, but well, you don't. But you kind of do. No,
It's
I
like
know exactly what
it's
you're
like a
saying.
giant hangnail.
Yes,
It's just taunting you.
It
yeah.
is.
It's Hensley. I wish you could have seen it. It was just a piece of skin that was 3 inches long. And
It's like if I was in the announce booth, that's all. It'd be like that scene in the third Austin Powers movie with the mole. It's just like skin. I'd just be sitting there like, is no one else going to talk about this guy? I'm going to point it out till like they stop showing it.
now, if that weren't bad enough, now we've seen Orton do hit the finger in the wet gagey.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I have things to say about this spot.
Is that we've seen him do that a couple of times now.
Yeah.
And Orton said, fair to that in Hell in the Cell. Not good enough. He had to climb up under the ring, grab a screwdriver.
I'll stop you there. From a toolbox, which threw me so hard because I'm so used to seeing things that should not be under that ring that the first thing that logically should be under that ring to show up, I'm like, wait, no. Oh, wait, no, that makes sense. That should be there.
Yeah.
Not those kendo sticks. That should be that. Okay, continue.
Yeah, that's the first time that I can remember a toolbox actually being under the ring.
Right.
Wow, that's
At first, I thought it was a legit accident. It was like,
what's that doing there?
what?
He takes out a screwdriver and he sticks it in the gauge of his earlobe and begins to twist it and pull it.
That is genius, and I will explain why.
Please do.
I'm sure most people would understand, especially if they have had their ears pierced or gauged. That doesn't actually hurt. Like if you take your,
I can imagine.
but if you take your thumb and forefinger right now and pinch the bottom of your ear, like pinch a little bit, you'll feel a little something. Those are the nerve endings from your skin. But if you pull and you yank, you don't actually feel anything because it's all cartilage.
You know what's? I have heard this all of my life.
Right.
And I think this is, most people have heard this, I
Yeah.
believe, that it only takes 2 pounds of pressure
It does.
to pull an ear off
It
of the
does.
head.
Mick Foley can tell you.
Yes, like
Which is also a legitimate martial arts move,
it is.
Yeah.
twisting somebody's ear off.
Because and it's like and what will hurt is it's going to bleed and bleed because of the skin and the veins and you got the nerve endings on the skin, but the cartilage doesn't. So, and especially since it's been gauged there, it's like it doesn't. It's been worn and moved and everything. So like that looked terrible, and especially for the squeamish, because I know like watching it is hard to watch, but it's like that was probably the safest thing Jeff Hardy did all night.
You're absolutely right.
Good point.
And it was absolutely no different than him sticking his finger in there and
No.
whirling it around.
No, but
But the fact that he used a screwdriver,
yeah.
just my heart fell down into the bottom of my abdomen. I mean, I was
Because
just
it heightens that chance. Like logically thinking about it, it's like, oh well, I mean that's gauged. It's well worn. It's tough, but like you watch it and you think there's a chance that this thing might rip right in front of you. He's gonna tear it off.
That was my fear.
yeah.
But I could tell I was like Orton was being very careful and precise.
He really was. He really was.
Because really, all it would have taken was just one good turn, and it would have turned.
Now,
bloody.
It looked as terrible as they wanted it to.
we talked a little bit about the belt getting smacked over Orton.
Sorry. Before we talk about that again, my favorite part of that, one of my favorite parts of that whole twisting of the gauge bit was over the shoulder outside. You could see the outside ref and watching, and he just had this look of, oh my God, what are these white people doing?
I did not see
I
that.
saw him, and I was just like, my eyes were fixed on him the whole time from then on.
I did see a couple of people in the crowd. I don't want to say they were running away from the ring, but it really looked like they were trying to get out of the arena. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was the inverted ladder spot that, again, just made my stomach just curl up. It was Hardy that took that on his stomach. The actual the actual frame of the ladder closed in around him, and it pinched him right there where he fell. When he got up, he had these big red blood marks.
Kara and I are both nodding, making for good podcasting.
Oh God! But I've been very critical of Jeff Hardy this year. And I've always been very critical of Jeff Hardy. I gave this match 3 Meltzers because I think if there were two people to welcome in a new era or style of wrestling, it was these two. And that match was what started it.
Yep.
So borderline historic match.
Yeah, it was pretty much in the end too, where it's like Jeff got on top of a ladder. He wanted to jump off on it because Orton was on a table. He wanted to jump off, realizes, oh, there's not enough height, so he grabs the support of the cell, of the top of the cell, and monkey bars his way to drop down. Orton moves, and Jeff died the way he lived, face down in a table rubble.
Hey, that. And again, I don't want to be too critical on this because I love this match. Orton got up just a little bit too fast for me.
I honestly blinked and missed it. I kind of knew. It was like Orton's gonna move, isn't he? But I was like, I looked down. I was like, oh wow. It was like, It's just like when he finally dropped. It was like he really should have seen there wasn't somebody down there.
Yeah, you had 2 full swings before you left.
But this is
Orton
Jeff Hardy.
Go ahead.
But this is Jeff Hardy. I'm not convinced he wouldn't just do it because the table's there.
That's true. It is, and he doesn't have a place to live now because I just heard on the news that the Hardy compound has been flooded because of
the hurricane.
The hurricane.
Oh,
so they basically just give him a sandwich and a place to stay, and that's his payout because they don't want him ODing anymore. So yeah, I had 3 Meltzers for this. I can't say anything bad about it. It wasn't a clinic by any means. I'm calling it's a Smash Mouth style that the WWE hasn't really seen.
It does, and it really represents what you want to see in a Hell in a Cell.
Right. Like,
because they made liberal use of, because Hardy's bread and butter is table, ladder, and chairs, so they made liberal use of those inside the cell, and it just makes for a great match. Because it's supposed to be Hell in a Cell, so yeah, why not?
Absolutely. Now, I was critical of the placement of this match because I was like, okay, we started this night with Hell in a Cell. How are you possibly going to stack this card? Well, we have the very next match that comes out, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte, and I'm like,
oh yes,
if we're not doing Hell in a Cell on this is going to stink up the place. Well, I was proud to say that I was wrong.
It's just a good solid match the whole way through.
I mean, those girls tore it up in there. Could not. Kara, you're a fan of Charlotte, and you like Becky too. What'd you think?
I thought it was a really good match. I was worried Just what they followed, was a really good match, and it really could have gone either way. And I thought they did a really good job. I like watching Charlotte work. I just, as much as I dislike her father, I know, blasphemy. Oh God, kill me. I really like Charlotte. I really do.
Shocking behavior from you as my guest on this podcast. You would say something like that.
Yeah. Well,
Hang on, I'll take the heat off you. Wait, who's her dad? There we go.
People disgust me.
Good looking out, Chris.
thank you.
I don't need your help. These guys tore it up.
Yes.
Man. And I've been saying this for a long time. Charlotte is in the top 5 of the best wrestlers in the world. Easily. And, Becky, I can't say anything bad. I didn't think she was going to be able to bring it, especially following Orton versus Hardy.
Even better, she was too focused to worry about eyeshadow this time.
Well, there you go. She really brought it. These girls,
She did, yeah.
I mean, they put on a clinic in there, and it was fantastic. I gave this match 4 Meltzers. Unbelievable. I can't say anything bad about it. And we now,
And I really liked the end, where it was like Becky decisively beat Charlotte and got what she wanted. Mm-hmm. And then they also solidified the turn where Charlotte went to give sportsmanship. She wanted to raise Becky Lynch's hand in victory and say congratulations. And Becky was like, "Nope, my time. Get out."
turned her back. And it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I was worried about Becky not being able to pull this off, but she's really doing a great job being a really strong heel. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I don't have any more notes on that. This was a solid match.
Just enjoyable. Yeah. If you have a chance, watch it. Just go back and watch that in particular. It's just fun. Just enjoy it because it's good. It's good, straightforward, just work from both of them.
I'd put that match main event on any pay-per-view. It was fantastic.
Also, do we know the status of the poor peacock Charlotte stole her outfit from?
No. Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, I do have notes on that. It's dead. And
Okay, well, that's all for updates. Back to you.
the next up, we have a vignette with the New Day. And
Oh yes, okay. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of watched this and I was like, okay. I made liberal use of the skip ahead 10 seconds option on the pre-show, and then it got to I was like, okay, so I'll sit down and watch the pay-per-view. 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Right?
This isn't WrestleMania.
Now,
WrestleMania will be 9 hours.
after the clinic
Yes.
that Charlotte and Becky put on, and then before that, just this smash mouth style of wrestling between Orton and I almost created a new wrestler. I called him Orty. And Orton,
The unholy combination of Orton and Hardy.
now I'm thinking, okay, there's no way that they can follow this. They can't do it. As I just bring out the main here and let's go home. Well, again, I was wrong. Because next up, we have The Shield versus
Oh yes.
Dolph Ziggler and the Scottish Terminator, Drew McIntyre.
And this was a new revelation for me because the video packages in the pre-show helpfully informed me that apparently they've aligned themselves with Strowman and they're now evil.
Yeah,
Strowman went heel.
Yeah,
Is
a
that-
strange.
I don't know. There's plenty of good lead up to it with the Kevin Owens stuff where you get this idea that he's getting more and more out of control.
Sure, yeah, I can dig it, but you take the most over guy
Yeah.
in the business and you make him a heel and put him against the guy that's struggling the most, Roman Reigns.
Because Roman Reigns is the golden chosen one, and never forget it.
But we're burying. We'll get to there.
Yes.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we cannot overlook this match.
No. Oh my God. McIntyre and Ziggler. What else do you want?
Oh, I wanted to ask. So, what happened to the B team? Did they?
Yeah. You know, we didn't see them. They weren't on the kickoff.
I was sad.
They. I don't know. But you know, we're also missing Nia Jax.
Yeah.
We're also missing Shinsuke Nakamura. We're missing Asuka. We're missing the savior Bobby Lashley.
Not missing.
Well, absent. Yeah. I don't know. You would think that they would want to put those guys because that's our lead-ins. That's our guys.
Yeah.
These are our A-listers here, or at least they could be A-listers.
At least one of the matches coming up could have been replaced with any one of them, and it would
Right.
have been great.
Oh, we will get to that, but we got to talk about Shield versus the Show. McIntyre and Ziggler. That's just classic, old school, dirty heel tactics.
Oh, yeah.
Double teaming in the corner, keeping the quick tags, cutting the ring in half.
They had some great hot tags in that match.
It was so great. A lot of good double teaming. And you know, I've also been really critical on Dean Ambrose. He looked fantastic.
yeah.
Nothing bad to say about him. I'll never say anything bad about Seth Rollins. He was amazing. Beautiful spots all night long. They got technical. A lot of great high spots. Carol, what'd you think?
I loved it. I think it was I have to agree. I mean, I think it was probably the best match of the night, and you know, I still think the Scottish guy,
Drew McIntyre.
thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name all of a
What
sudden.
did you call him that night?
He's a young Sean Connery. His face, like if you were to go back in time, take Sean Connery, make his hair really long and give him an awesome goatee.
Put him on steroids.
Well, that too. He would be Drew McIntyre. Like, absolutely.
There would be no woman unslapped.
Oh, no. No, I think you're right.
You guys, so are you guys feeling what she's putting down here?
Probably not.
A
It's fine.
young Sean Connery?
I couldn't pick this man out of a lineup, so.
Oh, this is somebody pull their phone out. Show him a picture.
What?
Did Google
This
give you
is
the
not
shrug
what-
emoji?
This does not look anything like a young Sean Connery.
Okay, let me see. There are just certain times when he's in the ring that he just has, I don't know, he just has this look. And I don't know, maybe it's because he's Scottish and I don't know. But
Kind of
You're a
sleepy
sucker
and half
for a
watching.
Scot.
maybe,
Yeah,
anybody from that whole general area.
Carol likes the Scots.
The
She-
Brits,
she
and the
likes-
Irish, and
She likes the long hair, and the steroided up body.
no, I don't. I definitely don't, because Braun Strowman's more my type.
Oh, no, and he's never touched a needle in his
Shut up.
life.
Shut up,
Tell the listeners at home who your favorite wrestler is, Kara.
Mick Foley.
Now let's talk about this.
Correct
for a
answer.
minute. Now we're talking about just a Greek god of a man, Drew McIntyre, and then we're talking about Braun Strowman, powerlifting champion, beard that would make Gandalf jealous, and then we go to Mick Foley.
Right, that
Listen.
follows. What do we?
Thank you. I mean, okay, come on.
Chris is also attracted to Mick Foley, apparently. I'm just learning this tonight.
Who isn't?
Me.
Well, I know. I just have a soft spot for Mick Foley. I can't help it. I fell in love with him when he was Mankind, and I don't know.
I can, guys. I've got nothing else.
But it was fabulous. I mean, there's nothing more
Oh,
to
yeah.
say.
No,
This
it was
was
fun.
the best match.
Easily, easily the best match
show.
on the card.
Yeah, the show at this point is just must watch. It's
Yeah.
just-
At this point, in fact, I'll go ahead and say it. This is my very first 5 Meltzer
wow.
match.
Okay.
And at this point in the card, I am pumped. I was like, they are doing it, man. They are stacking this beautifully. I cannot wait for the main. This is going to be amazing. And then before that, let me get to the Braun Strowman promo with Foley.
I was conflicted right at that moment because I like both.
Yeah,
But I didn't want him to be mean to Mick.
well, I mean, and to see those two, it must have been like looking into a mirror for those two.
Yes.
They're
It was
so
confusing. I
similar.
thought they like put a line down the middle and had
Right, thought
someone
it was a
doing
split
both parts.
screen.
I enjoyed how nonplussed Foley was talking to Strowman because because Strowman is the big bad monster and just Mick's just talking. Yeah, good talk.
Well, yeah,
Because
Which
Mick's
I
awesome.
love. I love that.
I mean, come on. Mick's done I mean, he's
Yeah.
just... There isn't anything he hasn't done. I mean, lost teeth, lost an ear.
yeah.
I mean, he's literally given himself to wrestling.
He looks weird now, doesn't he?
No, but I think
No, he does. He's
No.
lost too much weight.
No.
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 no, he looks fine. I think his voice is sounding a little odder because with age and the missing teeth, it does sound a little weirder.
Tongue's a little
A
lopsided.
little.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have any teeth, so it's got to go somewhere.
Right.
And, there's
My,
no
how
teeth to
this
hold.
conversation has devolved.
Hasn't it? We're gonna edit this whole part.
That's
Oh no, I'm leaving all of this in. It's my bad jokes that we're taking out.
No, but he the whole shtick with Foley, and I almost did the whole shtick with Mick, but I decided to.
I'll stick with Mick anytime.
Me too.
His whole thing for the whole pay-per-view was, hey, I've been to all these Hell in a Cells. Let me give you kids some advice, and nobody's listening to him.
Well, that kind of leads to something I'll get to at the main event regarding Foley being there. It's like I know they wanted to talk about, it's like they were hyping up the history of it and how he had the biggest Hell in a Cell moment you could have.
Mm-hmm.
But I have something to add about that when we get there.
Right on. And we so this happens, and again, I'm excited. I'm pumped.
Yes.
They're stacking this beautifully. They could not have done a better job.
Until they didn't.
And then we come out with Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella versus Maurice and The Miz. Or do you want me to say it, or do you want to say it?
You look like you want to say it more.
I do want to say it. Miz and Mers.
Terrible.
What? What, the match?
Yes.
Really?
I hated it.
Really?
I thought it was awful.
I liked it.
Did you?
I did.
Really? Well,
I enjoyed
let's
it.
talk about it. This is the first time we've disagreed.
I liked it because I think here's the thing. I do not enjoy watching the Bellas be the Bellas. But I thought both teams had great chemistry together. And
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And
I'll give you that.
I thought I really enjoy watching Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella as a team. They have a good chemistry, and as does Maurice and Miz. And I thought that worked well in the ring. Admittedly, I was not watching this match super strongly. I was kind of drifting a little bit because I was tired. But I thought for what I was tuning in, it's like they were working well together. Everyone was working well together,
They were.
and they were trying. And it's like it was okay. I don't think it was the best match, but it was a fun match.
This is what I can give you. The crowd was into it. Mm-hmm. They're a fan of Miz and Murr. They're a fan of Total Fellas. So this whole thing works for them. And yeah, you're right. The chemistry was there. The Brian and Miz work well together.
They're so good together. Yeah. They just.
This felt like Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles to me.
What, on this card or the last one?
From the last match, yeah.
I can see that. I mean, the ending fell flat for me because I did not enjoy how it was kind of lame.
It was lame.
It was a lame ending, and I know it's just a lot of what's going on. It was storylines, and lately is just someone just keeps losing and losing and losing.
Yeah.
And they're continuing this with Brian and Miz.
Have they just run out of ideas? Like, are we have no more ideas on story?
This is, I think what we've got here is a donut.
Empty calories.
This is an empty caloried match.
Yeah.
It's not going to go anywhere. It doesn't have to go anywhere. It puts over the reality shows, and that's fine. I won't take anything away from that.
And people need to get popcorn and drinks sometime.
Yeah, but how much did it do for Miz and Brian as far as the wrestling goes?
Not much. I'll say that. No. But overall, I was like, yeah, okay, this is cool. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Okay, that's fair.
I was like, okay, that was a fun little match. Yeah.
My thoughts were,
I mean, coming off the last 3, it's a downward slope, but I thought it was still fun.
Right on. Okay.
Because of what they all put into it, and you could tell they put a lot into it.
Sure. Now
most of them did anyway.
My thoughts on it is Maurice ran out of gas real early.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I'm going to get a lot of hate on this. She just had a baby. I got it.
That reminds me, one of the best lines of the night was, who was stepping up? Like, well, she just had a baby 2 months ago, and it was is it Renee Young who's at ringside?
Yes.
She's like, yeah, she was clear, and she was cleared to wrestle. So I was like, oh, that was great.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you made the point when we were watching the match. She looked so bad, she made Brie look good.
Yes.
And I'm not a fan of the Bellas at all. I just find them annoying. But yeah, I think Maurice made Brie look like she knew what she was doing.
I agree. I find the Bellas annoying, but I like that. I am the dynamic of Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella is growing on me. I think that is doing that. That's a better shift. I also like this evolution where Brie is unafraid to just pop Miz in the face. Like it does so much for the storyline.
Well, that's the reason. Miz is the only reason that this match got a Meltzer for me, because I feel like Miz carried this match from pillar to post, doing his damnedest, whatever he could to keep this match going, and I think he did a hell of a job. Daniel Bryan, he sells like he's on commission. So he did fantastic. Most of the work that was put in, I feel like, went to Miz on this one. I can't say
probably because in stuff like, when you're trying to get stuff over like this, it's mostly the heel's job to make sure it gets through.
Yeah, I can't say a lot about this. I one Meltzer, and
it was over.
The Meltzer goes to Miz.
Well, I'm docking points for that entrance gear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
yeah, I am.
It's getting out there, isn't it? Now,
I didn't think it would get much worse than the red jacket, but
surprise! It did.
Oh no! Now I think I actually skipped a match here.
Did we?
Yeah, I think that the Samoa Joe.
Did that happen before it?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing. I will say
it was so good we forgot it.
I don't think it was a bad match.
It wasn't.
It was much improved from the last one. There was so much more life into it.
Yes, there.
And the promo they showed where they took the time to actually print up a storybook for Joe to read,
Yes,
that was a great promo. That was fantastic.
And if
I love those kind of promos.
the build that they put behind this, although I admit it started very weak, it got some panache as it grew in the later weeks, to where this is a pretty good angle. And it's always fun when you bring in the wife that's not affiliated with wrestling, so she doesn't really know how to react to things.
She reacts like a person, a person with real world logic, not like wrestling logic. It's
Exactly.
Because real world people say, no, I'm not putting the custody of the child up for grabs in a ladder match. That's not happening because there's a legal system. But wrestling's like, yeah, no, put it in a briefcase up there. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
The paperwork or the child?
You know, it depends on what promotion you're watching.
Thank you. You said it and I thought it.
Because sometimes they'll just put a briefcase up there. Sometimes they'll put someone up in a cage.
Yeah, sometimes it's a baby. Depending on whether you're watching WWE or Impact. I can't say anything bad about AJ versus Samoa Joe this time.
No, it was a way better match.
Yeah, 4 stars. I thought the ending was a little Dusty Rhodes-esque.
Yeah, they did that. I could tell they did that on purpose, but his tapping was too weak for me to buy it.
Right.
Because when they showed it from the angle, it didn't look like oh God, it's too much, I'm tapping.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like okay, I think we got it. You can let go of me now.
But yeah, I didn't hate it.
Yeah. No.
I can't hate on it a lot because
It's a good proper you didn't really beat me scenario.
Yeah, and they're gonna continue this feud. In fact, they've already started promoting it for Super Showdown in 2 weeks?
I
3
mean,
weeks?
they promised to continue it the same night because Samoa Joe had a segment with Paige where it's like, okay, fine, you'll meet again in 3 weeks.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
And which, speaking of that, Kara has. I know you have some thoughts on Paige.
Oh, Jesus. God in heaven, if that woman does not stop getting plastic surgery, I swear to God, I don't know what she's going to turn into. She does. When she first came to WWE, I liked her. I thought she was a really good-looking woman. Now she's just shy of terrifying to me. She doesn't even look like the same human being that I saw.
Her voice is weird to me. She has odd inflections when she talks or tries to get excited about something.
Okay, so you guys don't like the British? No, I hear what you're saying. No, I understand.
Yeah.
Let it be known, Chris Barnes and Kara Hayes do not like the Brits.
Of course, Kara doesn't because she likes the Scottish, and they hate the English.
Right.
The Irish hate
I'm
the
cool
English.
as long as they stay where they're supposed to.
David Hensley, what say you?
I'm not touching this discussion. I'm keeping an eye on your time, thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
That's one for me. I count that.
No, I can't say. I thought this was a great match. I gave it 3 Meltzers.
It's been a very good and dramatic turnaround from last one.
All right, now I want to weigh in on this woman, though. Who are we talking about in her plastic surgery?
Paige.
Just like type WWE and Paige, and that she.
Yeah. You'll.
PAIG.
And you'd have to try to find a picture from like.
She did an interview recently.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with her. I support her.
Dave's a simple man.
I'm a simple man of simple pleasures, all right?
Simple.
And
warming up my voice for a podcast that I'm not usually this vocal on isn't one of those simple pleasures.
no. But Paige is that simple.
But yeah, Paige is.
No, this was a good match, man.
Yes.
3 Meltzers. I am ready for this feud to end. I need either Samoa Joe to come up out of this or something needs to change over with AJ. We gotta do something. But
They're pushing for something to. I feel like they're pushing him along for something to end this in the streak he's on, or I don't get where it's going.
they're talking about this feud being over at Super Showdown, which I find that's a strange pay-per-view to end this feud. Well, number one, this Super Showdown is going to be on a was it a Friday?
Saturday.
Is it?
No, it's a Saturday.
Is it a Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Because it's in Australia.
so
and
it will be on Sunday for us when it's airing. Right.
No, I think for us it's a Saturday. I
Oh,
think for them it may be a Friday.
Australia needs to be less confusing and dangerous.
Yeah,
I don't know, they're
Everything
upside
wants
down.
to kill you, and all their times and days are backwards.
And their spiders are terrifying.
And what side of the road do they drive on over down there?
The
Middle.
wrong one.
Even if it's the right side, it's the wrong side.
Yeah, they chose wrong. It doesn't matter.
This podcast has devolved so much.
Suck it, Commonwealth.
It's funny that you guys have been talking about how much you enjoyed this one, and yet we've devolved into non-sensory as much as we did in the very first podcast where you guys hated, what was the first one we did?
That was I believe.
Not Summer.
Extreme Rules.
Extreme
Yeah,
Rules.
there you go. So now we got to skip ahead a little bit to.
But yeah, I think that promo that Joe did especially helped do a lot for me in terms of okay, I'm more into this now.
Yeah.
I dig it.
It just needs to end.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
I've this angle built nicely. It's time to bring it to a head. I do think Super Showdown's a weird place to end it. But then again, where else you can't end
The
it?
loser
in-
must do a walk of shame into the Outback.
You can't do it at Evolution. So
No, but there you have to put on like wigs and dresses.
yeah. Now, after the travesty of Maurice versus Miz.
Wait, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Maurice and Miz winning their match. We move on to one of my favorites on the roster, Alexa Bliss, and the current champion, Rowdy Ronda Rousey. You know, the last 3 or 4 times with Rowdy, we have seen her do very well, considering that she is greener than any goose shit I have ever seen.
And yeah, some of the cracks appeared tonight.
Oh, a lot of those cracks appeared.
A fan belt might have snapped.
Yeah. She came out, guys. She looked choppy. She looked nervous. And it showed in the ring. The opening move where she grabbed Alexa and brought her over in a headlock takeover. It looked like she would have broke her neck.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She, and for anybody that knows me, I love Ronda Rousey. Like, since her MMA days, I love her so very much. But she scares me. But I noticed it's almost like I was saying the other night, she needs to have a match before her match. Because she needs to get her wiggles out and get all of the jittery and blah, blah, blah. Because once she settled into it, she did great. She just needed that time to calm herself down or something.
I think the problem from last month to this month was last month it played to entirely her strengths, which was come in, dominate, short match, over. But this time she had to go longer and have more give and take, and she's not there yet.
No. And before that, she was with the lights of Triple H.
Yeah.
And it was Nia Jax.
Yeah.
And
Nia Jax.
you're just not going to move her around like you are Alexa.
No.
As much as I love Alexa Bliss, she did not take hold of this match and settle her down.
She didn't have time. You can't really make noise when your windpipe is being crushed.
Right. And it is my understanding, now I don't know if this is a work or not, but Alexa Bliss, it is reported that she woke up the next morning with tingling in her left arm, and that is why she is not in the Mixed Match Challenge with Braun Strowman anymore. They've replaced her with Ember Moon. That being the reason. It'll be interesting to see if they work an angle out of this, but I don't think so. I think they're just gonna. I think that's what happened, and they're gonna have to settle her down. Somebody's gonna have to take the reins. You can't keep sending Natty out there to, because Natty can
Be the
only-
Rousey whisperer.
Yeah, because it clearly did not work this time.
Sun's getting low, big gal.
I think she's struggling though. You know, when you have an MMA match, you come out of the gate, and if you're not the fastest, then you're gonna get taken over and taken down. And so I think she still has that mindset. I mean, she did that for so long that I think it's hard to rein that back in for her, you know, to make it more even keel.
And I can kind of get down with that. I do think that they were so impressed with what she's done the past 3 or 4 matches. They decided to give her a little free rein to see what she could do, and she did not step up to that challenge.
They let a puppy run loose, basically.
Yeah, Alexa should have grabbed her in a headlock, took her down, and said, "Okay, you need to take a breath. All right, now here's what we're gonna do." And she attempted to do it. I saw it a couple of times.
Yeah.
She tried to call some spots, and Ronda she was really choppy. She was rushing everything. The spot there on the turnbuckle where she was trying to do she was trying to crotch herself. It was rough, man. I gave this match 1 Meltzer, and to be fair, the only reason I gave it a Meltzer is because I really like Rousey and I really like Alexa. So I was a little showing some favoritism on that one, because really it deserved negative Meltzers. That we should have gone into a -1 range. It was bad.
And I guess someone told her about the eyeshadow too, because thankfully it came up.
It still looked bad though.
I assumed about the way her hair was styled back. It didn't look good on her.
No, honey.
Yes.
So let's move on to the main event of the evening. Now, after those 2 travesties.
Travesty is a strong word for the Bella and Maurice match, I think.
Okay.
Strong. Weak, but not a travesty.
Yeah. Okay. 2 very weak matches.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, Roman Reigns is coming up. I was like, I don't know what. So now here we are, main event, and it's about to go down. I gotta say it again. I absolutely loathe this red cell. I hate it so much. It looks like a toy. If you want to paint it a color, I get trying to progress the cell. I get it. Let's go back to Steel Cage Blue, man. Here we are. Main event. Guys, Roman Reigns hasn't looked this good in a long time.
No, it was a hard-hitting match. It was.
Yeah.
They made good use of what they were of themselves and the ring and what they could do.
Yeah. What did I have here? There was one little spot that I wrote down where Roman is outside looking for a weapon. Mick sticks his head into the camera as Roman is pulling out a table. And he's like, "Table? Table's good."
I heard that too. And that brings me to that was kind of funny, but that kind of brings me to what I was going to say about Mick Foley. There is no point in having a special guest referee in a Hell in a Cell.
No.
There is not. The only reason a ref is in there is to talk to the wrestlers and then eventually count a pin.
Yeah.
or a submission.
Yeah. No.
Now, in a match where it's say like falls count anywhere, or a brawl, or where it would allow for a brawl to happen that could go out of the ring, you need a ref there to keep up and to a ref is more important. In Hell in a Cell, the ref is only there to make it final.
Or if you need to build a match.
Yes.
You know what?
Because and I'll skip ahead a little bit. Nothing hammered that home more than the part where Drew McIntyre and Ziggler ran out to help Strowman, which was followed by the rest of the Shield coming out, them brawling there and working their way up the cage, and Mick is just, while Strowman and Reigns are down, just watching,
staring
up.
Before we get to that,
Yeah.
let's talk about.
And I'll jump back a second and say, like Karen and I love Mick Foley. I'm excited to see him anytime he shows up. I'm happy. That's great. And I'm glad he had the one-on-one moments with the segments in the back. It was just like, but
Foley showing his age a little bit there.
yeah.
Actually counted to 3.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. He. I think he barely pulled it back in time. I think it technically hit the floor, but he stopped. He didn't like. It wasn't like a finality. He realized, oh God, he's not gonna, like, I'm moving too fast. Because he hit 2 and he's like, I'm moving too fast. And
it's kind of like when you realize that you've locked you're about to lock your keys in your car.
Yeah.
And you see it, but you can't stop your hand from that door shutting.
Right.
And Strowman's reaction to this was priceless. He looks up, gives Mick this 1,000-yard stare, and screams, "Mick, you're killing me."
Yep. And that was not, I didn't feel like it was the monster talking there.
That was Adam Shear.
That was too normal of a reaction. It's like when a friend is pissing you off somehow and he's just like, "Come on, you're killing me, man."
So now Ziggler, Rollins,
because Roman and I keep going Roman and Strowman because it rhymes and I want to say the rhyme. I don't know. I don't want to.
Oh, just do it.
But they had some really, it was hellacious. They hit each other pretty hard. They hit each other for all they're worth, and they had some really good spots. Like there was one where it's like Strowman's outside the ring, kind of recovering, and Roman sees a chance, so he's gonna run around and, like, I guess, spear him in between the ring and Strowman grabs the steps and just chucks him.
That was something else.
And then when he tosses the stairs, I think earlier he tossed the stairs in the ring.
Even better than him tossing the stairs into the ring, was after he used it, he tossed the stairs out of the ring.
Yeah.
Now, anybody that's been in the ring knows if something flies into the crowd, you're basically you have to leave that state. You got to pack your bags then. Just start the car and get going. You can't come back. When he picked that thing up and tossed it at the cage, that plastic cage,
yes,
I just knew that thing is going to burst right through there.
Like Kool-Aid Man.
It's going to hit several people. Ziggler and Rollins take a not a fantastic bump, but good enough.
Right. So they fight around the ring for a little bit, and then they, of course, it's like somehow this ends up with them climbing the Hell in the Cell.
Because why not?
Because they're gonna tease it.
Wow.
They're gonna those two especially. So that everyone ends up on top and they're brawling, and it's like that. As I started watching, it's like, are they gonna bump through the top? Because I looked at how that thing was sagging. I was like, I could tell it was reinforced, but it's like, it's got enough give there. They might have gimmicked it.
And that was something else I was looking at. I was like, that looks a lot further down than the splash that Mick took. I was like, that looks to be 30 feet easy.
And And so they finally start working their way back. Like Ziggler rolls off to try and get down, and of course Rollins follows him, and that of course leads to the bump that you knew they were gonna take, which
Yeah.
is they're on the side and they knock each other off into the announce tables.
Yeah. No airbag this time, I noticed.
Nope.
So good on you guys for that.
Rollins and Ziggler would not have allowed that.
No.
They would have found a way to get rid of it before they did it.
Oh yeah, they absolutely. Guys,
And then they fight their way. Do they?
no, they didn't fight their way to the back. They laid there for a
That's right.
A hard
they were
minute.
out, and were Ambrose and McIntyre on top still?
They worked.
No, or did they go into the crowd? I can't remember. I think they ended up.
They did. They climbed down.
Yeah.
And they worked their way into the crowd
Okay.
a little bit, but then came back. And after that bump, Roman and Strowman, who have been taking a nap for the past 10 minutes in the ring, whose music should hit but the Beast Incarnate,
Beard Lesnar.
Beard Lesnar. Looks like he's dropped another 15 pounds.
He does.
Looks fantastic.
Minus the beard. It's awful.
He comes down, kicks the door off its hinges.
Yes. Well, this is and Heyman maces Mick Foley.
Oh, that's right. I
'Cause
forgot about
Mick
that.
comes out to stop him, and then or I think that's after the kick. He comes out to stop them, and he just straight up just mace. It just gets like bear spray in the face.
Yeah, and the hardcore icon legend took a stage roll instead of an actual bump.
Yeah.
Nothing sadder, guys, than to see that.
Oh, he's in his 50s. Is he? Yeah. At this point?
Still, then don't
Man, his
let him
knees.
take a bump.
Man, his knees. I mean,
His entire body.
yeah.
Like let him flail or something, and then kind of just.
You let that Muppet Man do what he wants.
No.
Yes.
He can't remember his way home. He shouldn't have been there. He counted to 3 when it was only a 2.
We should be doing video recording of this podcast as well, because Kira's facial expressions during the entire discussion of this match have been fantastic.
Oh, well, yeah, that's...
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're really missing out if you've never seen my wife get mad at me, which is, I mean, really all you just come over any day you want to, and you're
I'm
gonna
going to
see it
include their
3
home
times.
address in the show notes.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, have you heard him open his mouth and say things? If you're listening to this podcast, you have. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, you get
it's
it.
what
You
I live
get
with
it.
every day.
Kara is not a fan of me. Or the Brits, or blonde people.
No, he hates blonde people.
Right, you
But
just don't
God,
like...
if she was married to a blonde British person.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes. It'd be like being married to me.
You.
So, see, there it is. That's what I'm talking about. Brock comes in. See, I just
We're back in.
seamlessly move that. He kicks the door down. He steps on the door, gives it a little bouncy bounce.
He runs it up at like a ramp because
Yeah.
it's leaning against the ring. That was amazing. That was
I
great.
enjoyed
I
that.
loved that.
Cute little move. In fact, I believe that's what you said. I said, "Oh, that was cute." As the Beast Incarnate destroys
did.
everybody.
Oh, look at that 6-year-old on the playground. He's having a good time. I thought he was going to do something with the door once he got it in the ring because he looked like he tried to, but it wouldn't sit right.
Yeah.
Because he put it in the corner. It's like it bounced weird, and he's like, I'm done with that.
Yeah. So then he just picks up pieces of broken table and
Beats
decides.
them with it.
And at one point, I mean, he took everything that was broken in
Yes.
there and beat them with it. I was
No, he didn't pick up Roman though.
nor Foley. So
He wasn't in the ring.
that's right. If he had been in the ring, he would have picked up that broken man and just
We're jumping
beat
him
the devil
outside,
out of
right?
everybody.
I'll trip him. You just go for the head.
Okay.
And this is where things took a turn, guys.
Turn. Jesus.
Another ref runs in, and he doesn't ref. He just runs
He
in.
looks around. It's like, all right, show's over.
Yeah, he throws the match out.
They're unable to compete.
You
I'm
have
sorry.
all this action that has happened.
I thought it looked
For nothing.
It looked to me like all the world that Brock threw Roman onto Strowman so that he could count that and so he could have Roman back.
That's what I thought was. I thought that's what we were going for there.
But no, we just have a guy run in and rule a no contest.
Yeah.
That
It's
was
a Hell in a
shit.
Cell.
Yeah. I mean, you can't stop a Hell in a Cell match.
And granted, I mean, Brock storming in was fun to watch, but also defeating the purpose of a Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. I mean, but granted, I mean, after this many years, we've come to expect
Right,
that.
right.
But again, you throw out the match, much like I said last pair. Why? We needed. It could have been a confusing ending, but we needed a winner there.
I know why. Because
we're setting up a three-way here.
Yeah, that, and we need to see Roman still needs to look strong and not beaten, and they don't want Strowman to look weak. So Brock came in and messed everything up at the end.
Yeah.
It sounds like a children's story that got rushed at the end. Rocks fell, everyone died.
That was a children's story.
Yeah. What was your childhood like?
What kind of childhood did you have?
The best.
I don't want to come over
Stories of
anymore.
adventure.
I don't want to have dinner at your house.
No, you don't.
Look, there was plenty of action, chaos, unbound.
Yes.
Because of that and the story that built up to, I gave it 3 Meltzers. If there would have been an ending, I could have gone for, but possibly even could have gone 5. But it was so confusing. Now I haven't watched Raw or SmackDown this week because it's just been one of those weeks. So I don't know what's happened thus far. I'll try to give it a shot when I get to the house, but we'll see. Kara, this whole pay-per-view, what do you think?
Well, as far as the last match goes, honestly, I have no idea why the Shield showed up and why the show showed up. I don't want to say it that way.
The show showed.
The show showed. I thought that was just stupid. Like, it just wasn't necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Barring that, I do think Roman and Strowman had a good match. I thought it was very good, and I thought it was a shitty way to end it.
Right.
It was... if I'd have paid for it, if I'd have been in that arena, I'd have been pissed.
Oh, without
Beyond
question.
measure.
Vince still owes me money from 1997. 1994, the entire year of 1994 alone, he owes me a lot of money. I called those 1-900 numbers. Terribly disappointed. Again, I think that Hell in a Cell was a precursor to the new style that's coming in. At least that's what I think. I gave it 3 Meltzers just because of what I think is going to happen. I don't know. What say you, Chris Barnes?
I think it was better than average and a fun show overall.
Mm-hmm.
The main event was a fun bunch of chaos until the end, sucked the wind out of the sails. I mean, because honestly, I see why they had the Shield and the other guys storm in, because it was like, 1, those guys are entertaining and they'll take good bumps, and 2, let's be honest, I think Strowman and Reigns against each other can't tell the story on their own.
No, they can't. No, absolutely.
They were
not.
taking a pretty prolonged nap in the ring when the other guys showed up.
Oh man, I'll bet easiest money they've ever made. No, I agree. You know, I just thought of this. You know what it reminded me of? And you're probably a little bit too young to remember this, but when they used to do Mid-Atlantic Wrestling on Saturday mornings, they would have the main event for the end of that hour was something unbelievable. It would be, say, Sting and the Road Warriors versus, say, Tully Blanchard Arn Anderson, and then Flair couldn't be there that day, so they threw in Sergeant Slaughter, and I was like,
wow.
wow, this is gonna be awesome. And you'd see Sarge get in the ring, and he's like, oh my god, and then here comes Sting, and you're like, oh boy, and then they start to circle up and they lock up, and it says, guys, we are out of time. We will bring you the end of this match next week. And you're so mad. And the problem was they never told you the result. They never showed you highlights of that match. Never.
It's like every week the ending of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and you don't know.
Right. And that's what the end of this pay-per-view, I was that frustrated and angry. I'm like, no, you can't do this to me. I invested in this. It is.
That damn rogue ref is just...
that just wants to come in willy-nilly and throw out matches.
Like, guys, I got to get on a flight soon, so...
So this whole... Just turn the lights out.
Just flick the lights a few times, I'll get the idea.
But that's where we're at, guys. Let's do a top 10 rundown, because we haven't done that in
Like a month?
Yeah, about a month. So coming in at number 10, they have moved a little bit, at least in the from 4 to 10. Number 10 coming in here is Daniel Bryan. Number 9, we have Brock Lesnar, who actually was at number 12 on the countdown before, but has moved up a notch.
Good for Brock.
Yeah. Also moving up, coming in at number 7 is Ronda Rousey. So good for her, moving down the, or I should say, she's moving up the charts a little bit. Also moving up the charts, Charlotte Flair. She actually knocked Matt Hardy off the charts.
Good for her that this new name, getting her name out there.
Yeah. Oddly enough, Shinsuke Nakamura is coming up next.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I noticed during Jeff Hardy and Orton's match, I noticed that they now don't care which Hardy is in the ring. They will now just shout delete whenever.
Yeah, no, it's just delete, whatever. And apparently either Hardy doesn't care either. They just like, yeah, delete, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't care. It's whatever's making you happy. Coming in, I lost my count. Okay, here we go. Coming in at number 5, who's fallen a couple places, Alexa Bliss. She was actually replaced by the number 4, Roman Reigns. Number 3 was...
I always think of him as number 2.
Well, yeah. Number 3 and holding strong there is Seth Rollins, followed by our 2 favorites who have been unmoved since the beginning of 2018. Braun Strowman, and number 1 is still AJ Styles. Now I got a new one here.
Sure.
And because we are running a little low on time and it's time for us to get up out of here, we're only going to do the top 5 since we are bringing tag teams back and it looks like this is going to be a staple in the WWE now. I decided to do the top 5 tag teams. Number 5, since they just recently lost, has been the B Team. Number 4, we have coming in the Bar, since they're making a comeback and have actually beaten the B Team. Number 3 is, without question, The Show, which I don't even know if that's really their name. They were talking about that being their name. I'm talking about Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
They were kind of saying that was their name, but here in recent weeks they haven't been using that. So I don't know if that's something
They're probably still trying to feel out a name that they think clicks the best.
Yeah, something. Number 2, oddly enough, is still the Bludgeon Brothers, who we have not seen in a long time. Why that is, who knows. And number 1, that is your 5-time World Tag Team Champion.
See, Dave, this is why it shouldn't be a video podcast. That hip swivel right there.
Would have gotten us rated explicit.
The New Day. I don't know, guys. I enjoyed the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was fun.
Coming up next, they're going to have the Super Showdown. That's going to be in, what, 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
Oh my God, October's gonna kill me.
I think it's October
6th. It's like
yeah.
it's in that area of 6th or 7th or 8th. I give up.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because it's not going to be in a week until we are able to do the podcast anyway. Mainly because at least 3 people in this room are going to be performing in a show called They Fight. Hensley, what can you tell us about They Fight?
They Fight is a collection of some of the best fight scenes in the works of William Shakespeare, including fights with rapiers and daggers, broadswords, hand-to-hand combat, and even a wrestling match.
Say what? Now, who would be doing such a thing?
Well, I don't know. Some crazy guy who used to be a wrestler named David Two Dogs Hayes is getting back in our finger quotes ring and tossing around our good friend Robert Bradford.
And he deserves everything that he gets in this match.
That son of a bitch Orlando Du Bois.
Guys, I encourage everybody to come out and see this thing. To tell a secret, probably going to be one of the last plays I do for quite some time. So I would love everybody to come out and see this.
Everybody?
Everybody.
It's at this point that I'm going to include an audio clip of Gary Oldman in The Professional screaming, "Everybody." If you want to come out and see the show, it's going to be at the Duke Energy Theater at Spirit Square in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 4th, 5th, and 6th, and then again on the 11th, 12th, and 13th. You can buy tickets online at carolinatix.com. That's They Fight, presented by Free Reign Theater Company. Dogs, Kira, Chris, anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Chris?
No, I think I'm good.
Kara, thank you so much for being a guest on our show. Have you had a good time?
I have. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, and I appreciate you doing this at last minute. So for David Hensley, Kara Hayes, and Chris Villano number 22 Barnes, this is David Two Dogs Hayes saying, guys, if you got out of bed today, you had a job to go to, and someone that cared about you when you got back home, folks, this match is over, and you just won via pinfall. Thank you for listening to This Is a Work.
Good night, and who are you to doubt El Dandy?
Listeners, if you've enjoyed the show, please feel free to leave us a review and a rating on whatever platform that you're listening on. And also, please make sure to check out our sister show, Long Walk Talks, which also features me and Chris Barnes. We post new episodes every 2 or 3 weeks, featuring a variety of topics. If you have any comments or questions about Hell in a Cell or any of the other pay-per-views we've covered, feel free to send them to me at david.longwalk@gmail.com, and you'll be hearing from us again in a couple of weeks for the next WWE pay-per-view event. Thank you very much. Good night.
Your favorite wrestler sucks.